Okay, so, um, continuation from yesterday's video. I am going to be talking about my restoration in the faith of humanity. I don't make a very good first impression, just because I don't make an impression at all. So it's very rare for me to talk to people. And normally, the only times I really talk to people in class would be forced groupings, or when the professor has us working in groups and there's like a graded paper assignment. I say graded paper assignment because often when they're just, talk amongst yourselves and we'll call randomly on whatever, and it's gonna be, just as a way to like get active engagement. I am not talking to people, or rather, people don't. I'm not going to initiate a conversation ever, basically, and no one else does the same to me either. So, I guess I'm still sitting near the front, and I guess people near the front also don't want to engage. I don't know, but my point is, I'm not talking to people often, and they don't often talk to me, which is fine because that's just how the way it is. So fast forward, it's very rare. I do notice that's like how with my major, other people happen to choose the same classes that I do, and apparently someone who like worked with me from like probably a group that I don't remember who, which is I'm sorry about, noticed either my name or the profile picture of me or both, and realized that they know me and maybe that I'm chill like that or I'm cool like that. And then what essentially what happened was they talked to me because they had trying to like see if they had like a question. They couldn't access a paper or a assignment that I didn't need to do, so I couldn't help them. But they're like someone I know in my class, which is very rare. And then the next time the class met, we had to form groupings, and again it was randomly assigned. So there was like a former memory of people who worked with the same groups as they did last class, and this time we weren't all sitting next to each other, so you had to like look around for the people you'd want to work with. And me doing me, I am familiar in those situations, so I just wait to see who hasn't had a pre-established group, or if there's a group that had less people, I will try and ask them to say something maybe. And then if more than like 99% of the time, I say 99% of the time, but it's actually been like 100% of the time, I actually joined someone's group and they, accepted me in. But this time, the guy notices me and then asks me to be part of his group, which is insane for something to happen. I've never had that happen to me, where they just approach me, which is crazy. I mean, has that happened in like high school? Maybe, but I had a stronger impression of being the smart kid. So, like, people, if they wanted to work with me for a quote-unquote easy grade, they would. But also, they just, like, normally just talk to their friends because, like, their friends were smart enough to know the answers, and I would just, like, if you really wanted to know the answer, you'd ask me. But most of the time, people would, figure it out themselves. It may take them longer to, like, get the work done. But yeah, that was like in high school. Now in college, I have no clout. No one knows me, except that guy, which is cool. And then following that, in many other classes, I don't know, it just happened to be a chance event where I needed him to approach me for society to realize that it's okay to approach me. The metaverse from the Persona games, or Persona 5 I should say, the societal implication, belief, mass beliefs culminated into now people are okay with like sitting next to me when there is when I am not the only other seat available. So someone has to make the conscious decision of either sitting here or there, and they sit next to me, which is crazy. But then, like, that's just one thing about it. I have to see where this goes. Maybe I'm in my popular phase. I'm not. But that's basically all I wanted to say. It is possible for me to, I don't know. I think this is objectively my opportunity to make an impression, but I'm still not going to. So I guess now we can talk about what's going on. We're fighting doing the second rival fight, and family typing is kind of owning me. I'm guessing family is super effective against cat here, which I do put in here. How do y'all feel about the spreadsheet idea? Because in my head it would have been funny, but now it just takes a lot of time. But anyway, yeah, I'm going attached to this team of mine that I've established, and just, yeah, not much to say. This battle is kind of slow. But, you know, I guess I can let the battle play for itself. I'm not really necessarily moving or expanding the needle, moving the needle much. I guess it is different this time because I have so many more Pokemon. I have a full team of 6. This is his team of 3. And almost none of my typings match up. Or typings overlap with each other. Boring ugly is weak to fire, which I can't do much about. But I do know that Rock is strong against fighting. And maybe Rock is strong against a monkey. I don't know. But it is faster than me. Oh, this is Blaze range. I was playing here. Wow, I'm surprised I lift that. That's Blaze Flame Wheel. I mean, I guess Bochi just like that rock. Graveyard. Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle did reveal its anniversary characters, Part 2 anniversary characters, and they look amazing. They look like the two best animation characters in the game. If we're talking about the new generation, new style of animation between Gogeta and Future Trunks, I have Gogeta over Trunks and then we're gonna have to see where the anniversary takes them, because it looks like their intros or like the meetup animations are some of the best looking in the game. And then they have the EX Supers, which are even more some of the best looking in the game. And that's not even talking about the kits. If UI is the game, the battle starts with UI Goku, and so even if he's like 90% dodge turn 1 and on turn 3 he's at 70% dodge, that's just an easy what's the name power creep button mechanic. Like Genshin characters apparently are able to live to 2 years before they really notice power creep, or rather like power creeps have become very noticeable after 2 years. And it's just insane for a insane timeline in terms of Dokkan, because like Dokkan Fest Trunks got like a month or 2 or 3, maybe like a month or 2 before he became irrelevant, and then his EZA came out and he was still irrelevant, but that's another thing. I guess the timeline of Dokkan works differently than Genshin, because you have like ideally like 4 to 6 months of like supremacy if you're a random Dokkan Fest character, or like an anniversary unit, ideally 1 year of, or 11 months, 11 to 1 year. And then I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm just thinking, oh, okay. Well, another battle before the video ends, but like ideally 11 to 12 months of supremacy, and then they get replaced by the next anniversary unit, and then the anniversary unit of 3 years ago ECAs, and they're good for 1 year. So I guess an anniversary unit would have 2 years worth of craziness, unless you're like Beast Gohan, in which you were dominant your 9th anniversary. For the 10th anniversary, you were like you were good for like another 6 months after, so like a year and a half. And then occasionally, like, could you bring, I don't really think you could bring Beast Gohan in any of like Artificial Red Zone. I have to see if you could bring him into the 11th anniversary special battle. You could bring Beast Gohan to the GDC fights, some of them, but they do have like gimmicks you have to be aware of. And then we talk about like Orange Piccolo, in which case he was good for the entirety of the 8th, and he was like relevant for the 9th too. So like, yeah, like some characters, some really well designed characters you get to see like 2 years worth of being non-dominant. And then we have his Beast Gohan's EZA coming up in 1 year, which is crazy to think about. So that's another year lifespan. The 8th anniversary adults are gonna get their EZA. It's Kai Goku. I can't talk anymore, but